Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush episode review. This time we will be reviewing episode 74 of Go Rush, which saw the duel between Rovian and Goha Yuna, and the conclusion of the duels between Asaka and Kawai Tell, as well as Yuumu versus Neanderstar. Now, we knew that those two, Yuumu and Asaka, were going to win, the two that were possessed by darkness and were taken over by darkness. We knew they were going to win their duel, so it was nice that the episode started off with both of them getting the respective wins and then kind of moving on in the tournament, actually moving away from the arena, as well as Yuhi and Yugioh moving away from the arena. I don't think this tournament is honestly going to conclude. Menjaburo was about to announce that they were all disqualified until Ron stepped in and prevented him from announcing it to the public, because I don't think Ron wants this tournament to be completely hijacked and ruined, and if you lose some of your best duelists, that's exactly what's going to happen. So shout out to Ron there for kind of saving this tournament. But generally speaking, man, these last couple of episodes have been fantastic, and this episode was no different at all. Obviously, we've got to talk about what happened at the end of this episode with a yellow-looking Valgyrian Udius look-alike coming out of the relic that Yuhi chopped in half using the power of Shubaha, which is insane. So the implications that might have on this story is massive, something that I don't think any of us really saw coming. But we're going to wait to talk about that, because I do want to talk about the duel between Rovian and Yuna, which probably is getting overshadowed here because of how the episode ended, which really is a shame, because I genuinely thought that this was a super strong duel, and I think the right character won. Obviously, going into this duel, I liked Goha Yuna a lot more than I liked Rovian. I wasn't the biggest fan of Rovian as a character. I will say this was definitely her best episode. I really liked seeing her go into her berserk mode again, and then after Goha Yuna was expunged from the darkness because of the relic being cut in half, we saw Rovian make some moves that actually made it seem like she was dueling Yuna, because up until that point, she really was just dueling against the character that had possessed Yuna. So I thought that was a really good touch. But then even what Rovian did for Yuna at the end of this duel, by basically telling her off so that she had no doubts that leaving the Rovian bandits was the right decision for her, I thought was a really selfless and noble decision by Rovian. And so while I'm still not a big fan of Rovian's character, I will say that I view her now in a kind of indifferent way, because I thought this was a really good episode. The annoying poems, at least I've always found them to be annoying, weren't there. And something else that also made Rovian's character a little annoying for me was Goha Yuna early on. And Goha Yuna has come a long way from being the Rovian cheerleader, and man, this was another great episode for her development. We saw she got a focused episode in the previous arc against Manabu, in which she lost. She was completely blindsided by a maximum, but outside of that loss, she has racked up impressive win after impressive win. Obviously, beating Udius to kick off her story was a shocking win. She's one of only two characters that has been able to defeat Udius in a duel, which is super impressive considering we are 70 plus episodes into the show. And then being able to defeat the girl that she loved and idolized and looked up to since childhood was a really, really great ribbon on top of everything that we've seen so far in regards to Goha Yuna. I think she's got incredible development from someone who at the start of this story was just obsessed with Rovian. It was a character that none of us ever thought was going to leave Rovian's side, and it was very annoying seeing just how loyal she was to Rovian in a very much over-the-top simp sort of way, for lack of a better term. But now she's kind of in her own road. She's on her own road, and she stands up to Rovian and dictates and announces that she's going to leave the Rovian bandits and follow her own path. And obviously, Yugioh was a big inspiration for her leaving Rovian, because we know she has a crush on Yugioh, and she became very close with Asaka. And Asaka's story is also interesting because she also had a crush on Yugioh, but decided to leave it be because she didn't want to get in the way of Goha Yuna and her feelings. So that was very noble of Asaka. But we've seen Yuna really develop into this solo character over the last few arcs, and it's been really a treat to watch. ever since she's kind of left Rovian's side. So the duel is going to get overshadowed because of the end of this episode. But I do have to say, the duel was really well done. Yuna and Rovian were both showed off to be really, really well. But I think the more relevant character, I think the better storied character won this duel without a doubt. So I think Goha Yuna going over here and getting the win was 100% the right decision. And I'm really interested to see where her journey goes. And if this tournament does continue, her versus Yugioh in a rematch of what happened, you know, when Yugioh lost to her, I think is very compelling. But obviously, there are way more compelling Yugioh storylines in this episode that have come from this episode beyond Goha Yuna. And the most compelling, of course, has to be the character that came out of the Relic at the end. First of all, before Yuhi slashes the Relic, we get a rare Yugioh fisticuff scene, which we don't usually see often. I remember, you know, Shun beating up some security guards in Arc 5, Yusei famously punching out security guards in 5Ds. We get Yuumu and Asaka, who are pawns of the darkness, trying to defend the Relic, which is, of course, the home of wherever this darkness came from and whoever unleashed this darkness on our characters when Yuumu said Otis and unlocked the power of the Relic, you know, just a few episodes ago. So Yuumu and Asaka are trying to fight off Yugioh and Yuhi, and then Manabu and that fish guy, I'm not even going to be bothered to learn his name, that fish guy run in, and Yugioh gets beamed by the anti-Karumata beam, so he can't do too much. I like that the Relic kind of identified Yugioh as the biggest threat in the room, and they immediately just neutralize him, so that was honestly a really good touch, and I think it goes to show how intelligent this character is, whoever is controlling all of this right now. And Yuhi lets Manabu really just, and the fish guy, really get Yuumu and Asaka out of the way. They get thrown into the wall, and then Yuhi, using Shubaha, slashes the Relic in half. So I like that it was really a massive moment there, right? You had a big fight scene. You had a bunch of characters needing to work together and come together to finally stop this Relic. And Yuhi slashes the Relic in half, and boy, oh boy, Yuhi, what have you done? Because we see this Yugioh-like being walk out of the Relic, and if you look at his face straight on, he obviously resembles Yugioh. So it leads me to believe that this character has to be like either a Yugioh clone or maybe the first ever Yugioh. It could have been the first Yugioh that was a failure for some reason, and the Yugioh that we have been following in Go Rush is a clone based on him. Like, this is the prototype for the Yugioh that we have now. But whatever this character is and whatever ties he's going to have to Yugioh, I am so intrigued, and I'm so grateful that this show has given us another twist that not a lot of us saw coming. Because a lot of us thought that this was going to be Darkness, that this was going to be, well, not Darkness from GX, but the Creator or Otis. We still don't know where Otis fits into this. Is he the Creator? Is he not the Creator? I've got no idea. Is this character Otis, right? Because that's a theory that I've seen, and that was my first instinct, because we never saw what Otis looked like in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. But in my opinion, it's not Otis. I feel like if this was going to be Otis, it would have been a lot better if we saw Otis actually walk out of the Relic and then unmask and be this character. Like, how chilling would that have been? So if they were going to go that this character is Otis route, I think that's the way it would have been presented. I don't think they would have presented it as this Yugioh lookalike character walking out of the Relic and then announcing him as Otis. You know, we will know based on the voice actor if the voice actor is the same as Otis. I have the feeling this voice actor is going to be the same as Yugioh. I think it'll be the same voice as Yugioh. But man, my theory is that this is like the first Yugioh. That's what I believe. You also get like God of Velgear's vibes. Like, I get God vibes when I look at this character, but I think it's got to be tied into Yugioh because the resemblance is so shockingly similar to Yugioh. And I like that we are getting a villain character here that is not going to be the Creator. A villain character here that is not going to be Otis, because we're going to save that character or those characters for the last two arcs. If this show is ending in 6 months, which we all expect it will be ending in 6 months, then we needed another villain and we've got him right here. So all in all, the reveal of this character, the Yuna-Rovian duel, the growth and development for Yuna, and even Rovian not really being annoying and letting Yuna go on her own path. It was a really good episode for everyone involved, and I cannot wait to see where this story takes us. If you like Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush discussions, Talkin' Yu-Gi-Oh! Crazy Eights is a live stream podcast I do on this channel every Wednesday night. You do not want to miss it this Wednesday night because it is going to be crazy. But guys, please let me know your thoughts on 74 and all your theories down below in the comments. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day. Take care, guys.
Why?